you go check us out. We do a lot of interview a lot of local people in the outdoor community, charter boat captains, business owners, all kind of different stuff here on the Mississippi Gulf Coast. So you can check us out at groundwaterbanter.com or anywhere where you see podcasts. So Spotify, Apple Podcasts, any place where you can listen to a podcast, we're there. You can check us out. We're sitting here with Easton today. He's been on the show before, so you can actually go listen to that full-length episode where he tells his entire story. Unfortunately, he had to go to boat and sank in the Gulf of Mexico. We'll get into that. But luckily for him, he had a ACR PLB, Personal Locator Beacon. We're going to get into that in just a second. But like I say, go check us out. If you're watching this on the live feed and you're looking for something to do today, come down to the Mississippi Gulf Coast Coliseum and Convention Center. We're hanging out for the rest of the day. We'll be here until 5 o'clock, I believe. Yep. They have a ton of boat vendors out here you can see in the background. Lots of different stuff, man. If you're looking for a boat, you're in the market for a boat, this is the place to do it. They got in-house financing, so you don't have to bring your big wallet, just bring your big pen and sign on that dotted line. Right. All different types of accessories for boats. It's just a really cool, family-friendly event, and I think, Joe, they even got the Shark Tank over there for the kids.
Yeah, they're rocking and rolling. I can hear them screaming.
So take your family, hop in the car, and come check it out. But we're going to jump into the chat here today with Easton. He's going to tell us his background and how he got hooked up with the company ACR. I was not familiar with ACR until we talked to you the first time, and we were just chatting here before I hit the live, but this is a big company, and we actually had there, is he the president?
He's the president of marketing.
Okay, on the show, great guy. We had a great conversation. Again, you can go look that episode back up. But we're going to break it down what ACR is, what Personal Locator Beacons are versus e-curbs, and just overall boating safety and why it's important. So if you could just give us your backstory and how you got hooked up with the company.
Well, the backstory is that we was on a fishing trip last summer. Got to go look at the podcast. I mean, went through the whole details. The short version of it, boat sank. We had 5 people on the boat. The boat went down in a matter of a minute. The only thing that saved us was the life jackets, the coolers, and the personal locator beacon that Connor Smith's girlfriend put on the boat that day for us to take with us. But after that, ACR, they're a big company, but love everybody. They're like a family to you, everybody else. Y'all go down there, they're going to welcome you with open arms. So they flew us down there, got to meet them, talked about the PLBs and how they were made, and just from there I just donate my time going to do whatever I can to help out with promoting safety on the water. Because, you know, nobody wants it, but it's there if you need it.
Yeah. Y'all are a prime example of preparation, because the guys didn't have anything with PLBs, but his girlfriend stuck it and told y'all, hey, y'all are bringing this with y'all, and luckily you did. I hate to, you don't even think about what would happen if that thing wasn't on the board.
If she wouldn't have told us, hey, or told Connor, put this in your bag, take it with you, there, we probably wouldn't be here today. Coast Guard asked them, you know, if what saved our life, or how did they find us, and he pointed at that device and said, that little device that you have in your hand, just little bitty, size of a cell phone, stick it on anywhere on your boat, but that right there works globally. You can hike with it, canoe with it, kayak with it, take it out front, however you want to. It's just one of the best devices that anybody could ever have.
It's crazy, and like you said, you know, one of the details that you mentioned is that boat went down in less than a minute, right? That's unheard of.
I'm giving it a minute.
Right. Like most people, before I chatted with you, I'm thinking, I've got enough time to grab this or grab that, grab my life jackets, do this type of thing. It always was a unique situation, but it still doesn't mean it couldn't happen to somebody else, right?
It can happen to anybody.
And 1,000 things can happen on the water. You know, and it's like, it is a rare situation, but you bring life jackets on the boat every time, right? You should, from all.
Take it anywhere.
Take it anywhere you want. You can fit it.
Once I had it set in my bag and they never asked me anything about it. They didn't check. Now the other guy,
carry on. You got them carry on?
Yeah, carry on. You have to bring it on your carry on because the battery's inside of it. Right. Okay. So it has to be on your carry on. Okay. And they didn't check me. They didn't ask anything about it. They told me have a great flight.
Yeah.
And we was on the flight, taught people seeing it on my bag. They're like, "What is that?" And I told them, they're like, "Oh, we're in airplanes." Right. So they don't want to hear that. But and then the people they were flying to New Orleans, they're like, "Well, at least if the plane does go down, I know who I'm going to stick with." And I'm like, "Well, absolutely. I mean, this is what's going to save a life." And also, ACR is not just a small company, and I've learned that. It's ACR Artex and also Ocean Signal. They cover, they're global, they're all over the place. They airplanes, boats, anything, everything. There was even on Apollo.
Yeah, I remember him telling us that. Yeah, it had something to do with that. I didn't realize the company was that old. But just for like people again, if you've never really heard of it, you end up in the water, or like you said, you could be hiking something back and happen to get lost. You could get turned around, not know how to get back to where you're going. This thing activates a signal, shoots it up to a satellite, and immediately notifies.
Just hit that button.
Yeah, it's go time. And that red button right there, kind of flash up to the camera.
Just do, yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna push it.
What happened to this car
You're showing up, yeah, to the
So-
boat show, trying to figure it out. But
when you get one of these, you have to actually go register it as a beacon. So you're going to put your information in. So it's like, this is to you.
So with these ACRs, what it is, and all EPIRB ACR, you'll get it and you'll register it. With the PLBs is your significant other is going to use you for example, significant other, but
yeah.
is what I would do is I would take that, register it. You would be the emergency contact. That would be if something happens to me, if it goes off, they're going to call you, hey, Easton Barrett's EPIRB or PLB just went off. What's going on? And you're like, well, he went on a fishing trip today. He got my kids on a boat, or he went hiking or a hunting trip. Like I said, it works all over the place. Turkey out, anything. So you just register it. And the EPIRB's the same way. You register it to the Coast Guard, and that way they know whose boat it is. Everything, all the information's on there.
Yeah. It's like a little breadcrumb system, right? As soon as everything pops off, it's going to send a signal out. Coast Guard's going to get it. Coast Guard's probably going to radio everybody in the area to be advised. And the more eyes on anybody in an emergency situation, the better.
Exactly. With the new EPIRBs they have out, that's for actual boats. With the new EPIRBs they got, it's got the
You told me earlier.
AIS system in it. So anybody that has a new GPS or anything like that, in 2 mile radius of that EPIRB going off, it will send to every boat in the water. Okay. Man overboard, help.
To anybody's, tell me that again, to anybody's like harming or something?
Environment, Simrad, anything like that. They work with the AIS system. So that's, besides waiting for the Coast Guard to go get you, if it's a boat maybe a mile away from you, it's going to ping on their thing, man overboard.
Because if I remember right with your story, when y'all went over, you could see boats?
We could see boats probably about 300 yards north of us, and the boat went down so quick they couldn't.
Yeah, and for people that's not been on the water, 300 yards is not extremely far, but for the boat to go down that quick, when you're out there fishing and not paying attention, you can maybe see a boat, go back to doing what you're doing. If that thing sinks that quick, you may just think they took off somewhere in some direction and you don't know. Like, you know what I mean? If you've not been out there, you go 300 yards, why didn't they see y'all go down? It's like, it can happen, especially if it's choppy that way.
It was choppy, and you know, you got to think, the boat went down in a minute. We didn't have time to give out no mayday calls, nothing, and you know, people say, oh, you're men. I'm like, dude, I'm telling you, once you're in a boat and it's sinking, the last thing you're thinking about is doing all this other stuff. You're thinking about your friends, your family, your loved ones, making sure they got the life jackets on. Then go ahead and call for mayday, mayday, give them your latitude, longitude, whatever you got to do. Then the boat's gone, then you ain't got nothing else.
That's it.
But you will have this or your EPIRB on your boat, and that sticks with you.
Now, the PLB you got right here, is that water activated at all, or do you have to hit the button on that one?
PLBs are not water activated. You have to activate them, but the EPIRBs are water activated.
Yes, yeah.
As soon as it touches water, it will go off, and that's what during hurricane season, the Coast Guard came up with like, hey, we got to figure something out because these people living on the boat's getting wet or sank or something, and they're getting I think the lady said 300,000 calls down in Florida. And then all the boats are sinking because of the storm, and they're like, only one of them, there's a man. There's a man out there in the storm, in the water. Yeah, I'm like, so they were doing all these other searching when they could have been helping him a lot better. They did, they got him, but still, people don't think about taking them out. They're not a toy either, so.
Well, they're usually on the bigger boats, they're usually mounted to their interior T-top, something like that, and they got a hydraulic release. I think that's what it's called, hydraulic, whatever, something static release.
You talking about the ones that automatically kick out? So that's the Cat 1. As soon as the boat gets, that's why we say put them on top of the T-top, because if the boat capsizes, that's going to be the deepest part at the time. And once it gets under water and you got the pressure, it's going to spring it out and launch it out, and you're good to go.
Yeah. And if you're hearing about this for the first time, like this is the PLB, it's a smaller unit. The E-Perv that we're referring to, it's a little bit bigger. And like
I mean, it's iPhone compared to
so that's small.
E-Perv's about as big as a football.
It's like a little football comparison.
Yeah.
And like Joey said, you typically mount it to the boat. It doesn't stay on your person, and it's water activated. So if the boat goes down, you don't have to do anything.
And it also is, the new ones can activate, you just hit a button on top of it.
On the E-Perv.
On the E-Perv.
So you can do it either way.
Yep.
Okay, yeah. And I mean, it's extremely, I wouldn't want to say handy. I mean, it's vital. You should have it on the boat.
Everybody.
After we did the episode with you, then we had the ACR on, and they spoke with us as well. They sent us 2 E-Pervs and they sent us 2 PLBs.
Good.
So now we've both got one for our boat. I was more interested in this because of the versatility of it.
Oh,
I can
absolutely.
throw it in the bag. I can bring it on the boat, or like you said, if I went somewhere like, you know, like say you went on vacation somewhere camping or something that's going to be in a remote area, I'm taking this with me.
Yeah.
I think-
That's a good point. I think we talked about
How many people get in binds, tree stand falls, limb breaks, something like that?
But if they're smart enough to attach it to them.
Yeah.
And not
stand or not
just attach it to them, because they got lanyards that go with it. This has got the Velcro and also got a little belt clip.
Yeah.
So if you're smart enough to put it on you and keep it on you, then you're great. You're not dangling out of the deer stand, wishing you had.
And they're not crazy expensive, right? And I think that was around $5.
No, they're about $300-400.
Okay, so I was
But
that one,
there's the technology that I have in it and everything.
Well worth it.
Well worth it.
And they're good. I think battery life is about
5 years on this one. The E-Pervs are 10 years, and if you use it, you send it back to them, you tell them your survival story, and they'll send you another one for free. So and they also got places to redo the battery, but the technology that's coming out every multiple years, it's easier just to buy a new one.
Well, they have all kinds of safety equipment, not just the E-Pervs, not just the PLVs. I mean, the ditch bag.
Well, my ditch bag, I got my PLV. I got rope, because when we were floating around, would have been great to have rope to tie everybody together besides just holding on to life jackets. I also got a actual survival kit in there that's got flintstone, knives, forks, anything, signaling mirror. I got flares in there, and also I'm gonna do away. I got the flare gun, but I'm gonna also add the new ACR flare.
Okay.
And what it is, it's red, white, and also when it flashes in between, it's infrared.
Oh, wow.
So for night, helicopters flying over, anybody, especially with the new cameras on the P-tops, you got the black, they can see it. It's a bright side.
And so this bag, what we're referring to, is a waterproof or watertight bag that is above deck, maybe somewhere on your T-top or your leaning post, to where you're not digging around in a hatch, you're not trying to find it. It's the first thing you grab, you unhook, you belt it to you, grab it, and you jump in the water, and you should be able to get out of many situations.
And something that you don't want to put inside the center console, because in our situation, which on the podcast that we did, it was closed. We couldn't get it open. Like, we pulled the handle out, it was suctioned in there. We couldn't do nothing about it. And that's where our flares were, and we could not get it open for nothing.
Yep.
So
they just popped out.
No, we went up there and we just started grabbing them out. Because if they was in that center console, we wouldn't be here today.
Right.
I don't know how many people has ever been in a boating accident, but they're not fun.
And they're not usually planned, and they're not usually. It's a chaotic event.
It is. It's for, like I said, a minute. I gave it 45 seconds. The most max is a minute, and the boat was completely gone. And we're just sitting around with each other, like checking on, make sure. Connor had his bids on. He ended up taking them off.
Yeah.
And Steven and everybody was holding on. Well, the coolers finally popped up, and we grabbed anything and everything that could float. The more you have, the better, because life jackets that we had wasn't the proper life jackets for the scenario, the water that we was in. The little Walmart things, just a Coast Guard pull up to you, hey, let me see life jackets, you hold it up, like, hey, it's just to get away with, a ticket, but they wasn't working properly. So it was not ideal for. So if you go out that far past the islands, you make sure you have the proper life jacket.
What month was that when that happened?
I want to say May.
Okay.
It was
So-
snapper season.
All right, and
Opening day is snapper season.
May is not the winter, especially not down here.
No.
And I remember y'all saying that the water was still
86 degrees.
and y'all know it's starting to get cold.
Yes.
Because you don't think of like 80-degree water. It's like that's not a problem.
No,
But if you spend what 4 hours in it,
4.5 hours, 5 hours,
that's,
and then
that's
you
lower
start.
than your body temperature.
Exactly.
So
And
it's
then
like-
also, you know, the deeper the water got, the colder it was getting.
Yeah.
The more that we was drifted away, it was just, you know, it wasn't the best time to be floating in the water.
Right,
You know.
right.
And the water's only half of it. There's things that live in that water
Yeah.
that you got to worry about as well. And y'all were surrounded by bogeys, I'm guessing, squid,
We
everything.
had a big wheel line come through us, and we're sitting there like, one of the guys, Dusty's like, we got to get this wheel line off of us, so we're just pushing it all out. When you look down, you can see fish swimming around like,
Yeah,
gosh.
that's not good.
Yeah,
That's bait.
Not good at all.
Bigger fish eat those fish.
And you know, right before we was saved, Dusty had an eel bite him, and he just grabbed it and held it down. And just I'm sitting there thinking to myself like, Lord have mercy, because you know everybody. You see something you didn't want to say nothing, came out and hit his leg, and we looked at each other and said, "Do not say nothing."
Could you tell at all what it shape, size, anything?
I wasn't looking. I'm looking at it. I looked once and I seen fish swimming around. I'm like, I'm done. I'm not doing all that, because once that weed lined up, it was just a big bait wall that time. We had 3 coolers, had all the life jackets and everything else that we had with us, which it wasn't much, but I mean they was underneath us.
Right.
But once the Coast Guard got there, man, it's like, I remember asking them, we were sitting there floating, I'm like, does anybody else just feel like crying right now? And everybody's like, yep.
No, that's really good. I mean, you probably get away with crying after that.
I ain't gonna lie to you, when Coast Guard, we seen Coast Guard coming towards us, because we seen them pass by 5 times. And once they seen them coming towards us, I will not lie, I cried like a little baby. Like, thank God I get to see my family again.
Yeah, we'll let you slide.
Yeah, I get you nailed it on that. We'll let you slide on that.
Like I made that video and my ex-girlfriend put it on TikTok, and it went from that night 3.4 million views. And then it kept going and going and going and going. And I didn't make the video, but people don't understand. I didn't make the video to be famous. I didn't make it for the thing. I did it for my family, so they knew what happened.
Right.
I didn't want them guessing where did they go, what happened.
Oh yeah.
So I knew somebody. My plan was to put the smaller stuff in the smaller cooler into the bigger cooler and just set that one sail.
Gotcha.
Because we had this and we never knew if it was working. The reason why is because we never knew what that was.
Yeah, because y'all weren't experienced with it. Y'all weren't knew the company at the time. You said it's now new.
Yes.
But I remember you telling us that y'all were actually.
Minutes that it goes up to the satellite, then it goes back down to the rescue center. They have to do all their stuff, and so we was hitting it on and off, not realize what to do. But we also gave them a drift line.
Right. Okay.
So that helped them out a little bit, and we didn't know, because every time we see the Coast Guard go by, like, hey, we hit the button over there, and they're stopped there, and then we hit it again. But we're drifting. We done drifted 15 miles.
Was that your total drift?
Yes,
15
total
miles.
15
And what was
miles.
total time in the water?
4.5 to 5 hours. I think it's.
That's a long time.
It is. It's doing the wrong thing to not let it do what it had to. And also, the Coast Guard was looking for a boat in distress. And the boat was gone. The boat was
Why were they
completely.
looking for boat in distress?
Because usually, all right, so that's why I said this is not a toy, and I harp on people, this is not a toy, because usually kids or adults get out there and not know what it is, open it up, hit the button, not realizing that's how you know they got helicopters flying over them, like, is anybody hurt?
Gotcha.
So they're, you know, they say a couple of them go off a year and it's not an emergency. So, which I've talked to multiple people, and I don't hate the Coast Guard, I love them to death. And I think after that, they said they had a helicopter on the way out, which they couldn't find the boat. But it's not a toy, and you know, it's an emergency situation, and that's kind of sort of. And also, we was drifting and we was hitting the button, and we completely the wrong thing. Because once you don't really know if it's on or off once you start hitting the button.
Well, that's what I was going to ask.
The newer ones, the new ones like we have, it's got the screen on it.
Okay.
So it would say 406 sent.
Yep.
And then when they receive it, they'll give you a message back saying 406 has been received.
Okay.
So once that happens, you just sit back and you just stay treading water or do whatever you got to do, but they will be there to rescue you.
The one that y'all had that day, how similar was it to this one as far as size and obviously, like I said, you didn't have the screen, you didn't have the communication back to you that the message was received, but it was about the same size.
It was the same. It's the same one. This new one. It didn't have the screen on it. It had this little light, and we didn't know what the blue light was.
So you flipped that piece up like you showed me earlier, and when y'all hit that button, the blue light came on, and you didn't know. You were like. So you were like, let's not burn the battery? Is that what it was?
It was just, we didn't know how long the battery lasts, and we're just sitting there. You can watch in the video. Steven's got it wrapped around his hand tight. He wouldn't let it go a bit, and he's just holding it up in the air, and it's just didn't know if it was working.
Right.
Didn't know if the batteries were good. We wasn't.
That's the worst part of something too, is not knowing. You know what I mean? That question is just, are we doing the right thing? Can I relax a little bit, or am I putting my faith into something that ain't?
You don't know about. I mean, that'd be like me giving it to that lady right there and say, "Here, use it." Well, what's it for? How do you operate? We did not know anything about it. Now I'm very knowledgeable on it. I'm not a salesperson for them, but I know exactly how to operate any of their devices.
I know it works.
I know it works. And that's why I will 100% back this and get my work to, because the technology that it has, they hand bake them. They hand test them.
Yeah.
In the factory.
Yeah.
Everything they test
Out of Florida, right?
Out of Florida, Fort Lauderdale, so multiple years. They get there, they stay there, and they retire from there.
Got some events. I just flew in from the Miami Boat Show this weekend. They were all down there. I think y'all are going to go with Miss Mary and them to the Mobile Boat Show. Is that correct?
Yeah, we're going to go to the Mobile Boat Show, do a giveaway there. We're going to try to give away 2 of them.
Okay.
Don't know exactly if it's going to be EPIRB or PLV, or it might be one of each.
Right.
Would love to go one away at this show, but with going to Miami and doing all that other stuff, and flying back in last night, come down here is just, I was very not prepared for it first, yes. And we're also going to the International Boat Safety Summit in Arizona. That's where all the safety stuff's going to be.
Okay.
And we're going to talk about this. My goal is to make that mandatory, or EPIRB or PLV mandatory for every boat that goes out front.
Yeah.
So every boat.
Certain distance out, it goes out
Any of it.
You're in the water, you can have one.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, if you can see land and you're a good swimmer, that's great. But if you're
Even that though,
you got to think about rivers that we have around here. How far can you go up Chicka Bluff and all through there?
Lost back in there, nobody never seen it.
Over there where y'all from, Pascagoula, all them rivers through there, it goes through God's country. If something happens to your boat, I mean, you've got to be able to tell people where you're at.
Yeah.
You can still swim to wherever you need to if you're a good swimmer or float. And, or heck, if y'all are fishing together, he has a heart attack.
Right.
Or he falls and slips on something on the boat, cracks a rib, and you can't get there. Hit the button, helicopter come out there, pick him up, That's happened.
Yeah.
ACR got a guy that actually had that on their boat, and he had a heart attack on the boat. When the captain's son or the dad, somebody, and they use it.
so you still have the capability of your boat working?
It's an emergency.
No, understood. But what I'm saying is do they recommend sit in place and wait, or
Yes.
haul ass in and they'll sync up with you because they can track you?
Try to hold, if you're there where you can, try to hold anchor. Try to stay where you're at the best as possible, because the only way that will work is if you're staying still. If you're moving, it's got to have the satellite to peak and do everything, because it's going off your latitude line, which
Right.
You should have that too.
everybody should have one.
Where can we find these around here? Are they local? We got to get them online?
You can order them online at the ACR website. You can actually use a promo code. It's going to be Boat Show 10.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it's Boat Show 10. You can buy at West Marine. I'm going to try to talk to a couple other places to put them in their shops.
Right.
Don't know who yet, but we're going to work on that, and we're going to post that out there. But the best way I can tell you is ACR. You can order them online, go straight to the distributor. Everybody likes to shop local, and that's great, but I will promise you, you're not going to get it anywhere cheaper, because they're all the same price. Nobody can go up on price, and if they do go up on price, we would like to know about it, because that's not how they operate. It's a device. It does cost a pretty penny, but you can't put a price on your life or your family's life. So they're all the same price all over the place. So you're not going to get it anywhere cheaper. We'll give a promo code out. That's Boat Show 10, and we'll give you a discount on that. But Other than that, I think West Marine carries them. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure they do.
Yeah.
Which I talked to the lady that does all this stuff. I'm like, we got to keep more in Gulfport or Biloxi, West Marine. Like, we got to keep them filled up. They sell out pretty quick. So.
It's something that you need, and I'm guilty of it too. I've been so many miles offshore so many times, not had anything. Now that I look back, I think how stupid I am for $300. I mean, that's maybe a reel, a rod, maybe
Right.
something, you know what I'm saying? That's maybe one reel worth of money to have the Coast Guard at your fingertips. That's well worth it.
How much it costs to fill your boat up?
Well, not mine.
Save your kid's life, save your wife's life, save your life, or whoever's on the boat.
That's right.
A lot of people don't understand also in the attorney situation, and it sucks for every boat owner. You're responsible for everybody's life on a boat. You as a boat owner and the captain. If something happens, you have to do everything in your power to make sure that everybody is safe. If your boat sank, you got to have the proper life jackets.
Right.
You got to get all this Mayday call out. If you don't, then you can have that and say you've done everything that you possibly can to save everybody's life. That way they can't go back and sue you for mental stress or PTSD or all that, because you know people nowadays sue happy.
Oh, yeah.
I have attorneys try to reach out to me after that, and they want to do this. I'm like, absolutely not. I'm not going to sue your friends. Try to sue everybody. Coast Guard, Pursuit for the boat. I'm like, all of it, man. And I'm like, absolutely, that's all we can do. I'm like, no, I'm not that person. I would never do that.
That's crazy.
So yeah, you as a boat, you better be prepared for everything. This helps you get prepared, or PLB, or an EPIRB, or anything they have. They got multiple different ones.
Yeah, and like you said, even something, definitely get one of these, but even something as simple as flares or mirrors.
Yeah,
right?
that's what I mean.
What else were y'all using?
I was trying to use my cell phone as
reflect light.
reflect, but I also had a cooler in my oar, and I'm sitting there trying to do this, so I couldn't see nothing. I'm like, I didn't really care at this time, as long as
If I remember correctly, what did the ice chest that y'all stood on its end and actually cut above the waves?
It was an igloo cooler that they stood in. It's a big igloo cooler, the size of this table. Everybody held it, and Cody got inside of it and was waving everybody down, but it was kind of pulling it down. So, I mean, every cooler that we had, it held the cooler up.
The hands, right? Yeah.
Out of the water. That's what the Coast Guard seen, is holding that cooler up in the air. But it's all on their podcast they have.
Yeah, you see kind of things you don't think of there. A 1 or 2 foot chop. I mean, the top of your head may not be visible.
Oh, they said it was to see somebody's head in that, it was like looking for an inch, like a football, throwing a football out there.
Yeah.
So being more visible is the best thing you can do. Anything you throw in the air, flares always a good thing to have.
So, dude, we appreciate you telling the story again. We're definitely sold on the product, and we have them now. Great company from what I can, from the experience I've had with it so far. Your life is testament to the product. So keep preaching the good word, man. Boating safety, it may not be the most sexy topic when it comes to buying boats and they think about stuff. I'm hopping on the water.
That's my goal, is to get everybody safe. We're gonna have to do another show about a ditch bag. Definitely have to do that. I'm pretty sure viewers would like to see, because that's been multiple asked questions, and it's like everybody has their own opinion, but this is gonna be my opinion and his opinion.
That'd be a good news, really. Yeah. We can talk about doing some of those, so I think we should get that now. Thanks everybody for tuning in on the live stream, man. Once again, we're Brownwater Banter. We're here at the Biloxi Boat Show 2025 at the Mississippi Gulf Coast Coliseum. If you're out and about and you're looking for something to do, come down here, check out some boats, check out all the different stuff they have for sale. We got merchandise. A lot of people are selling that. Adult beverages.